Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to draw this version of Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. I'm going to show you how to sketch him out first, then use all the ink, and then finish up by coloring him in. So I'll show you step by step. It's going to be super fun, and let's get started. Okay, first thing we're going to do is draw a circle for his head, and then just do a little V down at the bottom. This is going to be for his chin. So just curve from the left, a little bit down, and then up to the right. Super simple. Okay, then on the mask, we're gonna just do a curve right up on the corner there with the ear that pokes up, and then just do a little face right on the front. I'm going pretty fast on these steps, so if you get behind, just pause it and then resume as soon as you're caught up. Okay, next step we're gonna do the hair, which is just gonna be these points that go all the way down the left side. Doesn't have to be perfect. Then we're gonna do an earring on the left, which is just a rectangle. Draw kind of a line up here for his coat, and then another rectangle for the earring on the right. We're just gonna sketch it out really rough. Okay, now go ahead and draw an X for the face, and then we're gonna do this shape for his mouth. It's gonna be this curved, hollowed out area right on the front. Okay, next step is his nose. I'm gonna just do this little point here, and then his left eye. So curve up and to the left, and then create this just circular area. The next step is the right eye, which I'm gonna do his little eyebrow up here to the right, and then a big circle for the eye and a couple of lines. So when I draw eyes, I always try to make sure they're on the same plane. So basically the bottoms should have a line that can go right below each eye. And then also if the head is turned this way or that, whichever eye is closer, like this one, should be much bigger than the one that's further behind. And then just flip them depending on which way the head is turned. Okay, awesome. That's it for the basic sketch. Let's move on to the ink. So I'm going to use just a standard ink on my Procreate app and start by just doing the hairline. Do a line that goes right up the top of where that circle is and create kind of a jagged over to the right for his hair. Then over on the left, we're gonna just follow that down, but we're gonna create a little bit of an indent where his eye is. So we'll come down, in a little bit, then out again, and all the way down. Okay, let's go now for his shirt. Make sure you stop at his earring and just bring it up over and then up for his chin. I'm just following most of my sketch mark lines. I can deviate a little, but it doesn't have to be crazy. Let's go to the mouth. I'm gonna just fill in basically where I sketched. I'm not going to change it too much. And then on the inside, add these two curvy lines for his teeth. Kind of makes some cool little open mouth. And then just a couple of curves for his tongue. All right, the nose, same thing. I'm going to follow my sketch lines, and then I'm going to go up for his eyebrow and create it a little bit thicker towards the left, just so that it gives some proportions. Circle for the eye, and then over to the right, same thing. Thicker eyebrow, thicker eyelashes. Make sure that you add some points as well. That kind of gives it that anime look. So most anime eyelashes and eyebrows will have these points on the end. It kind of differentiates them from normal animation. So whenever you're doing eyebrows, eyelashes, make room so that they're thicker at the end with little points that come out. Next, I'm going to do a circle for his eye with just a line underneath. Okay, let's move over to the mask. I'm going to just outline where I've already sketched. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in some of these hair locks. Just create some curves that come down right on the right-hand side of the face there. Let's go ahead and do the earring while we're here. The earring is going to just be this rectangle with a dark line on the top, a dark line on the bottom, circle on the top, and then a half moon shape on the bottom with lines that come all the way around it. If we go back up to the top, we can do the hair over there. And again, it's going to be curved lines all the way around. Go ahead and slow this down and pause it if you want to follow along. But I tend to, with hair, not really follow a specific pattern. Okay, so now back to the other earring. It's going to be the same as the other one. Two black lines on top and bottom, a curved on the bottom, circle, and lines around. Over on the mask, you can see I'm kind of following the outline. I did add the little inside of the ear and a little dot for the nose. And then I'm just going to add this straight line for his mouth, kind of making him grin. Add this other ear on the background there. And then for his eye, I didn't sketch this in, but I'm gonna kind of freehand it. So basically, it's gonna be a standard eye shape, but then on the inside is gonna be an oval. And then I'm just gonna fill in the outside with black, a circle on the inside, and we're good to go. So I don't always sketch out shapes that I'm decently okay at. So if I don't sketch it, it's because usually I've drawn it so many times before that I feel comfortable just freehanding it. And then on the front of his face, he has these kind of flower shapes. I'm gonna just go ahead and have those droop right across his forehead, similar shape for all of them. All right, next up, I'm gonna go ahead and add some lines down for the hair on the back of his neck, keeping it just like the front, no real pattern, just keeping it nice and jagged. I don't want the hair to look like it's symmetrical at all. It needs to be really random. I'll fill out the back of his shirt, and then I think now I'm gonna do a little bit of line work on his clothes. So I'm gonna just follow the flow of the clothing, maybe add some lines back and forth here. You can do it any way you want. I find though that if the lines kind of follow the flow of the fabric, it just makes it look nicer. So here's my line work. Just gonna kind of finish up his clothing right here. Okay, so in case you guys thought I forgot, I'm gonna go up to his forehead and add this kind of burn mark. I'm gonna do it just real jagged, nothing super crazy. I'm also gonna add a few lines here just on his forehead, around his eyes. I just wanna add in a little bit of realism to his face. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna show you is a trick with hair. Okay, so I get questions all the time about how to make hair more realistic. So I'll show you this little trick right here. I'm gonna add to basically just the edges of where the hair is these little highlights. I'll fill the rest in black. So you'll notice I'm just gonna add in highlights right on the edge that go up for each of the locks of hair. I'll make them pretty jagged, but I can fill in the rest black, and I'm not even really adding that many highlights. So you'll notice I just have a few white spots, and I can do this all across the hair, fill in the rest black, and it gives me those highlights. So as you're kind of learning and practicing, try adding it just to the edges of the hair. It's a cool trick. Okay, the last trick is I'm gonna make some thicker lines on the edges of his clothes and on the edge of his face. This is gonna actually add a little bit more depth, make it look a little more realistic, and I just figure why not? It'll make it look just a little better. And I am just about there. I think I'm pretty good on the ink side of things. So here is kind of our finished drawing. Now let's add some color. I think it'll be much better. Okay, so next up I'm gonna do is the coloring. If you don't wanna do that part, you don't have to stick around. I'm glad you guys watched this far. If you do wanna stick around, I'm using a gradient with my Procreate software. It's called Old Timer. You can just use colored pencils, crayons, whatever you want. But if you only want to stay for this, that's fine too. So I'm gonna do 3 different tones for his skin. I'm gonna brush kind of this lighter tone and make it dark on the front of his face. And then up at the top, I'm gonna do some red, and you'll see why here in just a little bit. There's gonna be kind of red smattering everywhere. So basically I'm gonna try to blend these 3 together. It'll add some kind of cool shadows all the way across his face. And then the next thing I want to do is fill in red for all those highlights of the hair. I'm going to go all across each little tiny highlight, add in some red shading. And then once I'm on the red, I might as well do his eyes. I'm going to do the lower half red and the upper half black. This is going to give us kind of this dark, angry look. It's going to be awesome. And I'm actually going to do the same thing for the inside of his mouth. I think it looks really good like that. So moving on, I'm gonna do his clothing blue, similar kind of thing. I'm gonna try to go darker on the top and a little bit lighter on the bottom. This will give me a little bit of depth, some texture, and you know, I'm just gonna play with it, have a little bit of fun, but I like the way it's looking right now. Mask, I'm gonna use the same blue, do the same kind of texture, just kind of the top part of the mask. That way it looks really good like that. Last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add this red background, kind of almost like a blood smattering. And you might be thinking, hey, you messed up the whole thing. Actually, what I'm gonna do is add in kind of this lighter red, and then I'm gonna go and basically clean up the background with some white smattering behind it. So it just adds a little bit of the red texture and kind of reveals my finished piece. I'm using kind of this white speckle so that it leaves a tint of red all over the other colors, and also kind of lets the smattering look like it's supposed to. I think he turned out pretty awesome. I loved just, I was worried about the background, whether or not it was going to look cool or not, but I love the smattering, the look on his face, the whole thing's pretty cool. I'm going to take this, put it as a JPEG on my website, so if you guys want to download it, it's free. Just go to josephstevenson.com, go to downloads, and you can download this anytime. Make sure you check out some of my other videos and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.